like, okay. Oh shit, you
No,
didn't
it's okay, it started. Go, go, go. Quick start. Speedrun tactics for Let's Play.
Go.
Yeah, we're kind of talking in circles, but, like, yeah, I can attest, like, you know, relationships, friendship relationships, and personal, intimate relationships aren't really that different. Just like friendship relationships, you can have, like, friends that you keep at arm's length, but you really shouldn't have, like, intimate relationships like that.
Right. Right.
Maybe why I'm not as interested in dating anyone right now, but because like I want to be able to keep people at arm's length. Hooray!
And right now I'm just kind of in a spot where I want someone to share things with.
Fuck!
Wow,
Sorry.
you would have been fucked there anyway, though.
Yeah. I was trying to go too fast. I should have waited. Anyway.
I don't know. It's just like... it's frustrating.
And, like, it makes sense, too. Like, the problems we've talked about between us, that, like, the diagnosis isn't exactly a shock.
Right. It really isn't. Because...
So, it's not like, oh my god, no, what am I gonna do? It's like, oh, well, that explains a few things.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was like. It's like, oh, that explains a few things. In addition to, how did no one pick this up? Hold on. I've been seeing therapists since 1995. How did no one pick this up? Like,
yep.
No one.
Fuck off!
I've been probably minimum of...
Oh god!
Like,
dang!
Minimum of 10 therapists over there. No one picked it up. Minimum of 5 different probably like 10 different medicine doctors. Yeah. No one picked it up. Someone sat down with me and within 5 minutes said, has anyone told you about Asperger's? Like...
How... It's like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes me kind of...
Speaking of, if we're able to move on, speaking of counseling, I finally found someone to go talk to.
Yeah.
Like, I had my group back in South Carolina, but at this point, I'm so busy, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress with my group that I just kind of need, like, a semi-weekly touch base kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talk about, like, any kind of freakouts I had during the couple of weeks or 3 weeks that I didn't see her and that kind of thing, and, you know, express, like, please tell me that this is as warped of a mirror as I think it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because to me right now it's seeming kind of truthful, but, you know, can you tell me what's going on? And, I found someone, and she's wonderful, and says I'm doing great progress and all these wonderful things about me, and that I need to remember that what I think about other people, like, in good ways, like, when I think good things about other people, they also tend to think that kind of thing about me. You know, like...
Right.
When I think about, like, how wonderful it is to have a friend like Bodhi, then he also probably thinks the same thing about me. And there's other people out in the world that have similar thoughts like that. No! Oh, no! I was almost a ninja. So, like, talking to her was pretty good.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That perspective stuff is,
and
for
like,
whatever reason, it's just...
We talked about how since I'm, like, an intellectual type, that, like, I'm so wrapped up in my head that I can, you know, parrot this stuff back easily enough.
Right.
It's just working its way from the head down to the emotions that...
Oh, yeah. I've talked about the intellectual emotional gap for years.
Yeah.
Years!
And, like, with people like me, it's like, I want to control emotions. I can control everything else. Why can't I control this? And mostly, control is an illusion, so I'm wrong about being able to control everything else. But, like, emotions are so uncontrollable, that's what makes them emotions, that it's just frustrating for people like me, because, like, what do I do about this? It's not something I can just talk it out logically, you know?
Right. I'm very much the same way. I'm very much caught up in my head and in my own kind of.
I died behind a tree.
Like not even my head, but like my own like little imaginary world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like, and then like things happen in the real world, and I get like distracted because I'm like, what's happening in my head is so much more interesting than whatever you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had that hard. Like, I have a hard enough time, like, connecting with what's out. So, like, I have to not only connect from head to heart, I have to connect with head to world to heart. And it's, like, this extra step of,
just even more complicated and, can't I just, like, not do that?
Right.
I was doing, like, well enough during the week.
Right.
But then, I had a bit of a freak out, like, Thursday, right before I went to see my counselor on Friday. Like, Thursday night, I had a complete breakdown because of, give me a second. So I have a whole bunch of group projects and stuff, and, like, my job, what we're doing is this thing called, Scrum, where you set out what to do for the week. Everyone has goals, and you estimate how much time it will take to do the thing for the week. And then you meet again on Wednesday, and you talk about, okay, here's the stuff I've done, here's the stuff I couldn't do, here's how much time I think it'll take more, here's how much time I did take. And then on Friday, it's like, okay, here's what I accomplished. We can check it off the board and move on, and then plan for the next week. And it's like a business thing, so like you can get these giant projects with lots of people working on it. You can keep the progress going really quickly by delegating little tasks back and forth and constantly talking to people rather than leaving.
That's really applicable.
Yeah, so it's a really good model, and like keeps you productive and all that stuff, but it's also kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're constantly doing stuff, and you have these really short deadlines on these things. And, like, no! Well, fuck. And, so my thing for the week was to try and get a, Android app, working. Basically, I wanted to get some demo code working. You just look up, like, Android tutorial code, and I wanted to get that working. And because, you know, I'm a programmer, I'm like, oh, it's not going to be that hard. I just have to, get the stuff together, and... I'm
laughing because anytime I've ever said to myself...
Oh, it's not going to be that hard.
There's some type of disappointment happening in there somewhere. Yeah. But continue.
But my reasoning was, you know, it's just... like coding, you know, and I know coding really well, and so it's like, okay, I'll probably have to learn the syntax because it's Java, and I don't really know Java too well. Right. But that's just syntax, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
And I just need to get the emulator working so you can emulate a phone on your computer, that kind of thing.
Right.
And like... Oh, there was fire.
That's actually what my best friend does for his job. He actually does, like, coding work for, like, mobile devices.
Ah, neat.
Yeah.
And so, like, I tried working on it, and I got a little bit done. I looked into some things. And, like, I had some other things to do, so it was, like, down to Thursday evening where I was trying to get the main code working. And... I opened up the develop area. It's where you, like, do your code and stuff.
Okay.
And, like...
Oh! That's why that's trolling there.
Yeah. And, like, I opened it up, and there was all these files. I had no idea what they did. But usually with code, I can just sort of, like, view the source and look at it and figure out what it's doing on my own. Right. And so I tried doing that, and it's just so different from everything I've ever done that I had no idea what it was doing. So I tried to find a tutorial to do it, but I kind of didn't do baby's first Android app. I tried to skip ahead a little bit, and that wasn't good. What am I doing?
I don't know, dude. Wow, I don't know how that works, but that was pretty fucking impressive.
So I tried to skip ahead a little bit, and that didn't really work out very well, as you can imagine.
Right.
Go away. Oh no! Oh, why did I do that?
I haven't even gotten that far yet.
So, I just freaked out because, one thing, I set my own expectation too high.
Right.
2, I don't allow myself to fail very well.
True.
Because I think that if I fail, I've let the entire world down, everything's ruined, I better just disappear forever.
Right.
And, I also let the group down because, I kept telling them, don't worry about this, I got this, and I don't got this. You could use him to boost. There you go.
Oh, I don't think I've gotten here yet. Oh, I got here once, maybe.
Okay, there's 2 wigglers.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
And then the hammer guy. Hide behind the tree, he can't see you. Okay,
oh, okay. This I haven't definitely gotten here yet. Okay.
Yeah, this one I don't know very well. There's fire, though. And walking Goombas. That...
that guy spits fire, too.
Yeah,
So
no big deal.
Fire, nothing burns
So,
down.
I was trying to get it to work, and it was, getting close to, 11:30 p.m., and I just broke down crying over this. Full-out sobbing, panic mode, tears streaming down my face,
Yeah.
It wasn't good. And, so... This is our safe space, so I'm hesitant to answer this, but, I was seriously considering, hurting myself such that I would be removed from the class so that the group members wouldn't have to deal with me. So,
That's dangerous territory.
Yeah, and I'm not, usually that bad, so that's why it was, really bad.
Oh yeah, it's scary shit, man.
And, I didn't really get specifics out, so, I didn't get to that point, but still, that's kind of an extreme measure to go through because you think you've ruined everything in a school project.
Right.
I want to remind people, this is a school project!
Right.
So, why? I was wondering, how much I needed to do to get put in the hospital so that I could be pulled out of class. But then I realized that was bad, so I, contacted Bodhi and started talking about it with him. Because I was afraid that if left to my own devices, I would continue down that to the point where I would regret it later.
Right.
So, wonderful times there. And he managed to calm me down, and, just even, talking about it in, even, the simplest terms made me feel better because, just getting out of your headspace.
Oh, right.
Works wonders.
Right,
especially
reality
with
checking is so huge at the beginning of
that. Especially with someone that you, really trust.
Right.
Bodhi and I have been friends for about 10 years now. And, trust him completely, etc., etc., etc. Why? So, talked to him, he helped me calm down a bit, because, he gave an example of, this one time he was programming something and it seemed like it didn't work forever and there was getting no progress whatsoever. Then one day it just oh, okay, I get it. And it was fine from there. Which is probably how it's going to be. I just need to figure out how everything's put together. I just need to accept that it's going to be a little more complicated than a normal program. And go through the baby steps of figuring out what all these files do.
Right.
Instead of just assuming I'm going to figure it out.
Right, because if you don't know what the basic stuff does, you can't put together a big picture thing.
Yeah. So, I need to go through the itty-bitty baby steps of how to do an Android app. and figure out what all these basics files do so I can just, start working on it. But like, it was just a really bad combination of like, high expectations for myself and unable to allow myself to fail and all these wonderful things that just made, oh come on, for a really bad night. But
Yeah.
that night I also was sitting in a friend's stream. His stream name is Vipes3. He's talked to you a few times in the comments.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. And I was sitting in his stream and like getting really upset and all that stuff, and then like he put the stream on pause for a second to go like eat dinner or something. And he comes back and asks if I'm still in the chat because he needs help because his computer blue screened. And he didn't know anything about computers. He's like, what do I do? Do I turn it back on? Will that break it? What do I do? And so, like, I was feeling really shitty, but like, I was like, okay, I can help him with this. I know
Right.
what blue screens are, and I know what, a core dump means. I know what he shouldn't do. So yeah, like, I walked him through, like, carefully. There's a fire there.
Yeah.
That's not fair. I walked him through, like, checking the core dump and, like, the event viewer and all these things, and eventually restarted it and then run a check disk to try and recover any bad sectors, that kind of thing. I don't know if you know what that kind of thing is, but it's that kind of thing.
The only thing I know is that it's a blue screen, and I remember toward the end of the life of my old computer, I was literally, like, probably blue screening 2 or 3 times a week, and I never did any of that. I always just turned the computer off and turned it back on, and then it just kept getting worse, and then I just got a new computer.
Yeah, that's what happens if you don't do what I suggested. It'll just keep getting worse.
Yeah, it totally got worse, dude.
Learn from her mistakes.
Well, I needed a new computer anyway, because even before it was blue screening all the time, it was just getting, like, really, really slow. Like, It was taking, like, 10 to 15 seconds to open, like, maybe not 10 to 15, but, like, maybe 5 to 10 seconds to open, like, an internet page.
Yeah. Was
Just
this
like
the same computer we started Let's Playing on? That was, like...
Oh.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But anyway, so I managed to help him, and, like, we got his computer running a check disk, and it seemed to be recovering fine, and then the next day, his computer works. It's, like, 5 years old, though, so, like, it's slow, but it works. Right. And it doesn't seem to be any worse than it used to be.
That's great.
So, happy story to that, and, like, he kept asking, like, how can I make it up to you? And I told him, like, you have no idea, because I didn't want to say this in the chat, but, like, helping him at that specific point when I was having a big freak out, like, also helped ground me. Like, Bodhi helped get me out of panic mode, and helping with the computer helped right the mood so that I would be further away from panic mode.
Right, exactly.
So that, like, I was in a terrible mood, but I wasn't panicking anymore after Bodhi.
Right.
And, so helping really made me feel better.
Right.
So, like, if you're watching this, which he usually does, he watches, like, all our videos, oh god! It took the nose hairs off! Oh, he changes after you, okay.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, you really don't need to make it up to me, because, like, all I did was, like, translate the fairly, obscure and obtuse, web pages telling you what to do if you crashed. Like, I was literally Googling these things, because I didn't quite remember what each of the things meant.
Right.
But I was translating it from kind of dense wording to, okay, you need to do this, Then you need to do this. Make sure you don't touch anything while it's doing this.
Right, exactly.
Check disc is going to probably take about 20 hours to complete, depending on how bad it is.
Right.
So don't worry if it doesn't start back up for about 20 hours.
Right.
You know, all these things where it's like, I've done this before, I know what to expect, so you don't have to panic yet.
Right. And there's something about that grounding.
No! Whew!
There's something about the process of, like, doing something you know how to do really well that, like, it just makes things better. It's kind of why I like when I, freaked out in high school, why I liked turning to Pokemon Puzzle League as, like, a game for stress relief. Because, and some, like, super hard particularly. Now, some people are like, super hard is, how do you even human, please? Like, just run. Like, it's like, there are some people who can't even beat that game in, like, 2 or 3 or hours or whatever.
No.
But, like, there's something about it that
No.
Or, like, even, like, I would figure out, like,
No!
or something. Or I would do, like, math problems. Just something, like, I knew how to do to remind myself I'm not shit at everything in the world.
Yeah, like the puzzle games I have on my phone to help me calm down.
Right.
So it really did help at that point. We're at 22 minutes. Let's go to the next video.
Yeah.